Now, before I tell the story, I need to show you men a few videos regarding why you need to learn Spanish. Afterwards, I will tell you a story and give you a message. I do not know Spanish, which is why I could not translate what they are saying. However, these videos give me a few reasons why I should learn Spanish.
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres? Venezuela. USA. Yes. Uno, dos, tres, USA. I don't know how to say it. Español, Venezuela, bonita mujer. Yeah, what's up?
Llegando al safari, con Fari en el Ferrari. Ella no entendía el video con Matari. Bárbaro misionario, en la cama un legendario. Yo vi una golpe de barriga con perro con Mari.
Cargo el trofeo y la medalla en puro olímpico. Si me da mantenimiento digo ay qué rico. A lo mismo corre de verlo físico. Mi papi no está pegado porque es magnético. Lo tengo flow, ganando bien bronceado. Mi culo es de la meta de una de superdotada. Camina PNN de medio a mi piloto Fórmula 1 siempre anda bien montado. Más uno.
Con tu Cartagena. Así. Con tu Cartagena. Con tu Colombia. Con tu Cartagena. Ven a Colombia.
This is me driving down Lake Shore Drive in Chicago. This story is about my uncle, who was named Lan E. When Lan E got out of the Vietnam War, he started college. While in college, he met a girl named Laverne. Lan E graduated college with a degree in teaching, and Laverne graduated college as a chemical engineer. So yes, Laverne was earning almost double Lan E's salary. Lan E and Laverne got married. In the 1980s, they purchased a house on the west side of Chicago, next to the professional basketball stadium of the Chicago Bulls. Unlike today, the west side of Chicago was not a safe neighborhood. However, Lan E calculated that because of its location, it was just a matter of time before land developers would come in and change everything. How it looks today, he was right. So Lan E and Laverne, through an auction, purchased a 2-story house with a basement for about $5. In other words, no one wanted to live on the west side of Chicago. Plus, the house was in such bad condition that Lan E had to gut the whole house. He gutted the house to where you could see from the basement to the second floor. So Lan E installed new walls. A new first and second floor. Knew everything. He did it all by himself. When he got done, the inside of the house was so beautiful that it looked like one of the homes you would see in a magazine. A few years after the house was finished, Laverne started having an affair with a man that just gotten out of prison. Lan E filed for divorce and gave Laverne the house. However, Laverne would not sign the divorce papers. Laverne had her new man, the one that got out of prison, move in. During the 6 years Laverne's new man was living there, the house got broken into and robbed more than a few times. Her new man did not try to protect the home. Lan E told me that while he was living there, some people attempted to break in, but he sent them to the hospital. After this, no one tried to break into the home. When Lan E was in the army, he was military police. For over 6 years, Laverne would not sign the divorce papers, and until she did, they were not considered legally divorced. In year 7, Laverne became pregnant. Her new man, the one that got out of prison, took off. He disappeared. Laverne could not find him, and no one ever saw him again. Laverne did not think that Lan E knew she was pregnant. However, they still had mutual friends, and one of them told Lan E what Laverne was planning. One night, Laverne went to Lan E's house and attempted to sleep with him. In other words, she was going to say that the baby was his. Needless to say, Lan E did not sleep with her. What he did was call his lawyer the next day and told him what happened. His lawyer called her lawyer, and Laverne signed the divorce papers. The point of this story is to prove that even with some women who are highly educated, some women want to have a good time with a man who is fun. A man who is unreliable and undependable. Next, they want a man who is reliable and dependable to pay for their bad decisions. This story is from the 1980s. So everything you men are going through today is not new. What has changed is the excuse or justification women use. The older women are telling the younger women what did not work, and that they need to try something new. Thus, today's women are conducting the same game, but using different words. In the 1980s, I dated some black girls who thought it was wrong to cook and clean for a man if they did not have children. I knew many men, white, black and myself, who had girlfriends that ended the relationship because they wanted to see, or as one girl said, have different experiences with other men. Plus, they all said that if they did not find another man, they knew we would take them back. Most of these types of black girls never got married, and many of these types of white girls got divorced. It was so bad that in the late 1990s, I stopped dating Chicago black women. I dated black women from other parts of the United States, but Chicago black women I left alone. Then I discovered that black girls from other parts of the United States, along with many white, Jewish and Asian girls, were also playing stupid games. So I understand what you men are going through today. When I worked for my father, I traveled to some of the most rural or country parts of the United States. Places where there was no industry or no steady employment for over 100 miles. What I discovered while working this job was that these parts of the United States have a different type of women. Women who have a different mindset or attitude than the women that live next to or in a major United States city. For my foreign viewers, your country is probably the same way. So you might not be able to afford to become a passport brother, but you can afford to visit other parts of the United States. I have not conducted this type of traveling in over 20 years, but back then, a motel room was $35 a night. So in the United States, with $200, you also can travel to these places and spend a weekend looking for a good woman. I suggest Nebraska or the Deep South, such as Mississippi or Alabama. Miami is not good, but Northwest Florida is good. Go to places where no one ever visits. Places where there are no tourists. Places where there is no industry, thus no real jobs. Here in Chicago, I would suggest towns such as Peatone or Kankakee. All you have to do is go to one of these towns and visit the local stores, gas stations or restaurants. Then, when you see a pretty girl, ask for her phone number and take her out on a date. Then drive down every other weekend and see her. However, do not be surprised that many of these women have children, but their attitude will be much better than the women that live next to or in a major city. For the men that do not live in the United States, this is probably also the way it is in your country. My cousin Marcel did this, and he has been happily married for over 15 years. He went to Nebraska. Believe me, Marcel is nothing to look at, and his income is less than mine. So this is an option many men and I have in the United States. We just do not realize it. However, I am moving overseas because I want to live next to a beach, and not to find a woman. With my income of $1,000 a month, I cannot live next to a beach in the United States. But I can achieve this in Central and South America, Thailand, the Philippines and Vietnam. Plus, from watching other YouTube videos of men living in these places. With my current income of $1,000 a month, I might find a woman, get married and have a few kids. For all the men worldwide, you have options you did not know you had. Click subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share this video.